Hello, this is the England Pod Lionesses edition. We are here to preview the Lionesses Euro semi-final tie against Italy. David Walker is here from the England Pod and Kathryn Batte, women's football reporter for The Telegraph. Before we get into it, let's talk about the news that's coming out of the England camp, the extremely predictable and depressing news that Jess Carter has been suffering online racial abuse and has now come off social media. The Lionesses have now said they will not take the knee anymore ahead of their games. They've been doing it ahead of every single game so far this season, but quite understandably, they feel it's kind of lost its meaning. Obviously, I think we all think this is absolutely abhorrent, and we send our thoughts to Jess Carter and hope that she's getting the support she deserves. But you know what she's been subject to can't be undone, and so this is going to be of real psychological damage, I'm sure, to her and her teammates and her family. Kathryn, they were asked about this yesterday in the press conference. Lucy Bronze spoke very well. Also heard Alex Greenwood on 5 Live. What was the kind of general vibe of that when the questions were asked about Jess?
Yeah, it was weird because it was the first press conference I think I've ever been at where all the questions were only about one subject. I don't think anyone felt comfortable asking about anything else because of how because of what had happened, obviously. And I think if there's a player you want to speak in that situation, it's Lucy Bronze. I think she speaks so well, she's got so much experience. We were surprised we were hearing from Lucy Bronze because we've heard from her quite a lot during the tournament, and we don't want to have to hear from her in that situation. And I just feel like Jess Carter's quite a private person. She's not somebody that likes to be in the spotlight, and for her to kind of have that courage to come and to speak out and to put herself, in the limelight after what has happened, I think is such a brave thing to do. And I think actually the worst part of it is that she was still getting abuse after that statement came out, which just kind of says it all, really. So obviously, like you say, thoughts are with her, and I think, as we said, Lucy Bronze spoke very well on it. And she obviously has, the support of that whole team, and I thought the statement they put out was very, very powerful. And I think, whether Jess Carter plays or doesn't play that game, I'm sure she'll have the support from everybody.
Looking at the FA statement as well, I mean, it was, sadly, they have been in this situation before, and it seems like they do have, some good processes in place to deal with it internally in terms of supporting Jess Carter and the players, and also taking the issue to the authorities and potentially getting the police involved and dealing with the social media companies. So hopefully everything in that respect is being handled well and taken care of. But it's just, as you say, predictable, depressing. We've been here before. But it doesn't make it any easier to deal with for the players involved and for anyone really affected by it and watching on. So, we're building up to a semi-final in a major tournament, and we're talking about this. We should be talking about the football, but unfortunately, this is the absolute nonsense that still goes on, which is a real shame. And as Lucy Bronze and Alex Greenwood and all the players who've spoken about it, lots of former players have spoken about it in the last 24 hours, it is unacceptable. I mean, it is mad that this stuff still goes on, but obviously it does. We're sitting here, we're 3 white people who haven't experienced this sort of thing. You guys might have experienced sort of sexism or abuse of a different nature, but it's hard maybe for us to empathise in some moments, but it's clearly a horrible situation, and hopefully, as you say, Jess Carter and the rest of the players are being supported as much as they can.
Yeah, I can only echo that. We can't really comprehend. We just want to send our support, and it's just always yes, we've had sexism, but it's black players. They just get it. I don't even put a sort of number on it, but it's just heartbreaking. I think the only perhaps one shining light from this is that clearly the team, the FA and the Lionesses in general are very united on this, and hopefully she can draw some comfort from the unwavering support that she's got from her teammates and the FA. I mean, this might affect what we think about the team in terms of the semi-final, I mean, yeah, we need to say that this has really tainted the excitement of it. But I guess we haven't heard from Sarina Wiegman yet as we record. I mean, Jess Carter has been criticised for her performances, and she's also had to go through this now. We've also had the potential injury to Leah Williamson. So this all comes into play. Kind of our natural reaction is to think Sarina Wiegman keeps it as is, unless someone's, even hobbling, she'd kind of say, no, you're starting. It's kind of it. She's so stubborn and sticks to her guns. Do we still think, Kathryn, that is your gut feeling it will be the same starting 11 again?
Yeah, I had wondered whether she might make changes. Obviously, a lot of it, I think, will depend on Leah Williamson, and Esme Morgan sort of gave us an injury update, which was quite
Do
amusing.
we believe her?
I know, I did wonder that, but I admit she's not probably got a reason to lie, but the FA had sort of said, we're not going to give a running commentary, and Esme said, we're very confident she'll be all right. So I'm assuming she will be okay, but we obviously don't know for certain. My only thought, because I think my gut feeling is if everyone is fit, she'll probably keep the same team. But my only thought is that I think Italy play 3-5-2, and Sarina might look to match them because she's done that previously. And I just wondered whether a 3-5-2 might give us a little bit more protection in the defensive area, where we were exposed by Sweden, we were exposed by France, two good teams. The Netherlands and Wales didn't really manage to get at those weaknesses that were probably still present in that game because we were more in control. I just wondered whether, maybe an Esme Morgan or maybe an Eve Charles, whatever kind of shape the back four or the back three, if she played it, might take, whether one of them could come in. I actually think if they played in a back three, I think Jess Carter's really good in a back three. So I was going
to say that when they changed at the World Cup and she was a part of that back three, it suited her more, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. So if she was going to play a 3-5-2, I think actually you would definitely you'd want Carter in that team. If she was going to stick with the back four, the only thing is whether you bring in Esme Morgan just for her aerial ability, because Italy have got quite a few tall players, and also just her speed. She's quite quick. Whether that's kind of something that Sarina will think about. But ultimately, I think whatever team Sarina was going to pick before sort of everything that happened, I think she will still pick. I don't think she's somebody that's going to be kind of swayed by anything else, unless obviously, if it was a situation where Jess Carter felt she couldn't play, but I don't think that is the case. I think Sarina will do what she was planning to do regardless of kind of what's happened.
The Leah Williamson situation is, a massive situation for England and for Wiegman here. Like, as I said on the episode after the Sweden game, they are surely going to do absolutely everything they can, give her as much time as possible to be fit and to do whatever they need to do to patch up the ankle injury, to ice it, to inject it, to as much physio as you possibly can. So I'm sure I'd be really surprised if she didn't start. I think, but then you never, like, the fact that we haven't had an official update yet maybe suggests that it is touch and go. Because if it was completely ruled out and it was like she's broken her ankle or something, we'd know by now. And also if it was fine, we probably know as well. So I guess the fact that we don't know means that they're probably sweating on it internally. But hopefully we do see her and she is fit enough, to play. But then the situation is, as you said the other day, Robyn, there's that temptation to patch her up because she's the captain and such an important player. But then you don't want to be in a situation where you put her on the pitch and it becomes clear that she's not fully fit and it affects her performance.
Yeah, well, I agree, because I think Italy are going to want to basically rough us up a bit, and I think you got to be in a good state for that. I just wonder if, in terms of, I agree with you generally, Dave, on like the kind of messaging, but I think they might almost be using this as a kind of, I don't know, a sort of decoy to kind of keep Italy guessing a bit.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you're right. I think if she's even fit enough, she'll play, just knowing Sarina Wiegman. But yeah, if there's some sort of mistake or error or even just slight misjudgment from her, I think that's going to be the stick to beat England with. She's not fully fit. If you want to build your lineup, there's a really great feature on the FOTMob app sponsoring us during the Euros throughout the tournament, so you can build your Lionesses 11 ahead of their semi-final match against Italy. Link in the show notes if you want to download the FOTMob app. Leah Williamson, according to FOTMob, has completed the most accurate long balls per 90. Do we think that's actually going to be that relevant, do we think, against Italy? Don't think they play a massively high line for players able to run onto. Where do we think their strengths are?
I do think they're pretty quick and they're pretty strong in the air. I think that is my biggest worry, and I do think maybe people are going to write Italy off a little bit. I'm hoping they don't, because of how close it was against Sweden, and I do think people we talked about it, how it felt like the quarter-final was probably a tougher game than the semi-final. But now we're here, and because of how difficult the quarter-final was, I'm now sort of thinking, I don't think we can sort of assume that, Italy are going to be an easier team to beat than Sweden. I do think it's situated again. I do think if the England turns up that, that we know is there, they should win. But if they're off it in any way, they will get punished by this Italy team who are very well drilled tactically. Everybody knows their roles. They're actually quite, defensively they've been pretty good compared to what I didn't realise, how good they were defensively coming into this tournament. They're so well drilled. And like I say, they try and utilise their speed up front, and they're so strong in the air, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned about sort of the weaknesses England have. But I think you can kind of counteract that by getting in behind them. I think when they play that 3-5-2, you can get in behind the fullbacks. I think the likes of Lauren James, Lauren Hemp, if she's the one on the other side, could have some joy kind of down the wings if Italy do sort of leave a few gaps.
I saw them being hailed as dark horses before this tournament from a few people, and they were on that side of the draw that basically, Spain were the main. They were in their group, but Spain were obviously expected to kind of get to the final from that side, and Italy have gone the other way. So I guess they come into this as underdogs still, and FOTMob gives them a 16% chance of winning this match. But I mean, even against Norway, who actually hadn't played that well, but still have a decent track record and good players. They've come through, got a last minute goal. Like it seems to me that like they won't feel the pressure in the same way that England might do. So that's kind of something that England need to look out for. Have we kicked on from that Sweden performance? Have we managed to put it behind us and we get on the front foot? Or again, if we see a sluggish early start, we could be in for another up and down roller coaster of a match. Do we think Chloe Kelly has any chance of starting this match, or is she sort of boxed off as the impact sub at this stage?
I think she could if Lauren James is a bit tired, because she played 120 minutes, and I think that was the first 90 minutes she'd played since her injury, and then she had to play an extra half an hour. So I guess there is a scenario where maybe you have James as the impact sub, or Lauren Hemp. I think she's played well at this tournament, but I don't think we've maybe seen the best of her because of the fact she's still coming back from that injury. So could Kelly play on the left, as I think that's where she went when she came on. But I just think Sarina kind of views her as that impact sub. And I do think it is good to kind of have that strength on the bench and people to come on and change the game. But I do think there's an argument for her to start, but I'd be surprised if she did.
I think with Lauren James, there's still, she didn't have a great game against Sweden by her standards, but as the guys were I saw the guys talking about this on the BBC coverage before. I think in particular Jonas Eideval was talking about, just as someone who would have, his teams will have come up against her when he's been a manager. Like, she just has that ability to change the game. She has that ability to, as she did against the Netherlands, just smash one in from outside the box. I feel that even if she's not having an amazing match, wants her on the pitch for as long as possible for those qualities and for those reasons, that she can provide something different and be the difference in a what could be a tight match. So I'd be surprised if she didn't start. And I think you're right, Kathryn. Perhaps Sarina could rotate out wide on the left. But I think Hemp's been good, though. I mean, I think she has been good. I think she carries the ball so well. Like her crosses are generally quite good. She was unlucky in the Sweden game not to score with that header. She gets at the back post quite well when the ball's on the other side, doesn't she? She attacks the back post. So I don't think she's done anything wrong. It's good to have the options, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is the problem in terms of like the predicting what's going to happen, because I think it's kind of intangibles like how much will of that extra time and the emotion of the penalties taken out of them. We don't really know. You can't really put a price on that. And Italy had another day's rest as well as only playing 90 minutes. It's kind of a little bit tricky. I did Italy's game, their final group game against Spain, and they really did well against them. They didn't sustain it for 90 minutes, although at that point, with the other kind of game done, they knew they were through anyway, so I'm not sure much we can read into that. But they scored a really good goal on the counter. They really got Spain through that way, and also they hit the bar from a set piece. They are very good in the air, their defenders, and also this legendary number 9 they have, Cristiana Girelli. She's got 3 goals this tournament, and she's 35. I think she got Serie A's top scorer last season. She's just having a really fantastic end, sort of a winter of her career. And also, the other thing that's worrying me is Natasha Bedingfield. Have you seen this, guys? They're singing this after every win, and it's not just the players. Yeah, it's not just the players. Andrea Sonchin, their coach, is joining in too. They are united. It's not. They love each other, and they are yelling at Natasha Bedingfield the last couple of games post match. This is making me a bit nervous.
We've got a lot to answer for on England Pod.
We do.
Burnley took it on last season after they got promoted. I didn't see it anywhere else last summer, apart from the England Pod, when we happened upon it as a karaoke song in the karaoke bar in Cologne. I think we started something, and it's gotten away from us.
I think we should ask her for a few royalties, really, shouldn't we, as a podcast? She's having this emergence of this unwritten song.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing that's worrying me. Vibes, Natasha Bedingfield. I think that's the thing, and yeah, they do. And this underdog sort of tag, which they will have, even though they've got to these semi-finals. England will still be expected to win. I guess the good thing is that England, generally, they rise to the occasion, don't they, Kathryn, even if they do have injury issues and fatigue.
Yeah, and I just wonder if we will see a reaction from them, because they played so badly against Sweden, which we kind of got lost in the fact that they won and came through the crazy... We often see a reaction from England when they have had a poor game. Obviously, we saw it in the Netherlands game. I just wonder whether they're going to come out and play in the same way and just sort of come out all guns blazing from the start and just sort of blow Italy away in the first sort of opening minutes, which would be great for me personally on a selfish note. So that match against Sweden was absolutely terrible to write. But I do feel like it will be probably closer than that. But I just hope that we do see that reaction from England, and that kind of sort of inconsistency that we've seen of sort of maybe one bad game, 2 good games, 1 bad game. We're now going to have 2 good games, 1 against Italy and then potentially another one.
It would be, a huge shame and a massive anticlimax if after the drama and the effort levels that were put in against Sweden, we were to come out and we were to end up losing to Italy and not getting to the final. So I'm sure the players are very focused and on the moment and conscious of the opportunity they have to get to their 3rd straight major final, 2nd Euro finals, back to back, to try and do the thing that we've all been talking about the whole tournament, even for months and months in the build-up, is can this team retain the Euros? Can they win it back to back? And they've got the opportunity to be in a final. You'd think it probably against Spain, but it could be a rematch against Germany, who obviously got through against France in quite dramatic fashion on Saturday night. But it's a massive opportunity, and you just hope that the players are as rested as they can be. They've patched themselves up after that Sweden game. They're focused, that they're together. I'm sure, as you said, Robyn, like the fact that they've had to deal with, the situation with the abuse that Jess Carter's received. Like, I'm sure that they were together anyway, but this has probably brought them even closer. So hopefully they go out there and whether they blow them away, Kathryn, or whether they win it on penalties after a chaotic 120 minutes, we don't. I mean, I know you care from a professional perspective, but the rest of us, we take it any way it comes, wouldn't we, I guess?
It's not just the late match reports, is it, Kathryn? There was real jeopardy about a piece you were doing on penalties, especially during that France-Germany game. The statistics were going haywire, weren't they, during that one?
They really were. We left publishing it just to see if there were any penalties in that game, and when that game started, I thought, we literally just published it before. But thankfully, actually, it didn't. Even though there was more penalties scored in the shoot, it didn't skew it too much, because it was still kind of, pretty low, the conversion rate. It was sort of like around 58% or 54% or something like that. I can't actually remember what I wrote now, but it's still pretty low. I think there was only about 24 of 41 penalties scored, which not a high number.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, though? That's been a real theme of this tournament.
Yeah, incredible. And I was really annoyed that the Germans didn't score their penalty in normal time, because that would have set me up perfectly for my 2-1 prediction that I went with. I feel somewhat vindicated by the fact that Germany did get through and France did squander the opportunity to go through, playing with an extra player for the best part of 120 minutes. I mean, they did have 2 goals ruled out for very marginal offsides, but really they should be winning that match still. They didn't really create as many chances as you think they should have done, considering the advantage that they had. An incredible effort from Germany, and that's an interesting semi-final on the other side of the draw. It won't be. We've assumed that Spain are just going to be in the final, but it's not going to be easy. There was a lot of heart shown by Germany in that game, and they seem up for it. Got a big support as well, haven't they? Here in the tournament.
Yeah, massive. I think if anyone can stop Spain getting to the final, it's Germany, probably. Just because, I mean, they hadn't shown much, actually. Yeah.
Germany.
Do we want that? I mean, I'm not sure I want either. I mean, is that possible? But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Germany. I think you would, yeah. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. But I think I was saying this to someone over the weekend. They were asking me, like, who would you prefer? I think you'd take if you have the option, you're going to try and choose the one that you think is going to be the best for you. And I think Germany would be a much more welcoming prospect than Spain. But yeah, let's get to that if it becomes an issue. We've got to get Italy out of the way first.
Well, should we go our predictions then? I'm going to be very optimistic. I'm going to say 2-0 England against Italy.
I think that Italy will score. I think our defensive frailties will still be on show in some capacity, but I'm going to back England to come through it and win 3-1.
I'm actually going to go the same, because I went 3-1 against Sweden, and I'm going to say that this one is going to be 3-1 instead. I think Italy might score, but hopefully if it's sort of 2-1 or something, and we that England might get a goal on the break or something like that.
For the other one, the other semi-final, Germany-Spain.
You're going to take us through a story, Dave. What do you reckon?
I don't really have a scenario in my head for this, to be honest with you. I think Spain will probably do it, but I might just I'm going to chuck in a 2-2 draw just for fun and see if we get to extra time. I'm
going to go 1-1, yeah, because I'd like extra time. If England get through, like opposition to have to play extra time.
Yeah.
That's just my wishful thinking. Kathryn?
Yeah, I'm going to go Spain 2-1, unfortunately.
In terms of the overall predictions league, so Ali Maxwell's reign of terror continues at the top of the league. He's clear. I mean, he's well clear. 7 points clear of second place, the other Michael Cox. But the big news, as far as Ali is concerned, that not only is he sitting pretty atop of the England Pod's prediction league, he's actually in the top 10 globally of everyone playing the FOTMOB predictions league across the globe, and he is only 3 points behind the person in first place. So it's all to play for him. He could,
Goodness me.
Never mind England trying to bring it home. Ali could yet do it for the England pod.
Yeah. Conqueror of the world. I mean, he's in the wrong game, isn't he? Forget the EFL.
Yeah.
This is his new niche. Incredible stuff from Ali. That is the stablest perch, especially in the context of the England pod predictions. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be knocked off anytime soon, is he?
I've had a look at his predictions all the way through. He's basically doing that thing that you should do when you're in predictions leagues. Never stray too far from a 1-0 or a 2-0.
Yeah.
Or 1-0. Like, just keep it consistent and steady. We've got us chucking in 3-1s and 4-1s and all sorts, and that, it never really comes off, does it? But he's just 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-2, 1-2, and he's getting most of them right and a few of them bang on. So that's the secret.
Yeah, never too high, never too low. It's well played, Ali Maxwell. If you want to get involved, you can put your predictions into the FOTMob app, link in the show notes if you want to download it. And there we have it. Not too long to wait. England versus Italy for a place in the Euros final is Tuesday night in Geneva, and we'll be back to review it all on the England pod on Wednesday.